Hello everybody and welcome to True North EV. Got some interesting things to talk about today. It's been a little while since I've talked to you guys. Been having some issues with my Kona. I figure I probably shouldn't do a podcast when it's super negative. But we're going to start with some good news. Electrify America has announced a Hyundai Select plan. So before, Hyundai Konas got bumped up to essentially the second tier of their charging structure. And so it went from they were getting charged like they could accept a lot more power than they did. And so actually Electrify America came back and it sounds like they were working with Hyundai North America, or Hyundai Motor America. So it's the American side of it. Hopefully they do this when Electrify Canada starts up. So they went from, the Kona was charged 69 cents a minute plus $1 activate or session fee. So they went from 69 cents plus $1 to down to 35 cents. So it's still a little bit above the base price of 25 cents a minute, but they've also waived the session fee. So that's all really good, because the Kona can actually, so base tier is any vehicle that accepts 75 kilowatts or less, where the next tier up is 125 kilowatts or less, where the Kona supposedly can take 77. So just above that threshold, but nobody ever actually, well, I shouldn't say nobody. It's that perfect condition in order to get to that 77. So it's nice to see Hyundai actually, sounds like they actually connected with Electrify America to try to right this so you're almost saving 50% of the charge price, right? They did a quick little comparison. So this is actually coming from Inside EVs by article by Tom Melahoney. Sorry if I butchered that last name. So it's basically half the price, no session fee, but this is only for the Hyundais. So yeah, it goes from, for a 45-minute session, you were looking at approximately $32. Now, with their new fee, it's basically, call it $16, $15.75. So it seems like they've connected, but this is only for the Hyundai Kona. They are saying that there's going to be a different package for the Kia, but so if you have a Kona in the States, you have to go make, essentially, you're going to have to log in and put in your VIN number and all that, so they actually know it's a Kona, and then go through that. But yeah, the Kias, it sounds like, are also going to get some sort of special package. Not sure what those will come out as, but it's nice to see possibly the manufacturer actually sticking up for those that buy the vehicles. Although these prices are only good till December 31st of this year. What happens next year? Nobody knows. We'll see if Hyundai can make a deal with them or how it's going to work, if it's just a temporary deal. I guess the next thing, a lot of talk now about Model Y. It's being delivered now. A lot of talk sounds like mostly from the American side of it. It's the big hoopla is the Model Y has a heat pump. I've listened to a couple of podcasts that are talking about how great this is, and it is really great, don't get me wrong. And basically saying the Model Y is one of like 2 or 3 that actually has a heat pump, and the Kona is never mentioned as having a heat pump. I don't think the heat pump is available on any American Kona, but all the 2019 Hyundai Konas sold in Canada does have a heat pump. Now, with the 2020 Hyundai Konas, there's now, I have the base model 2019. It's called Limited, I believe, but doesn't matter. There was 2 tiers. There's now 3 tiers. The new base model does not come with a heat pump in Canada. I have no clue why, because the heat pump is pretty much necessary in Canada. Get that extra heat going while saving a little power. So I love that Tesla is moving towards a heat pump, though. I'm hoping they kind of move that into the rest of their lineup and start putting them on the rest of them. Just helps to get a little bit better range in the actual winter. So yeah, we're hoping, I do love that they're doing it, and hoping they actually expand that. Now, for the reason I haven't done any sort of recording, like I'm about a week late on recording, because I've been dealing with Hyundai dealerships that they sell an electric vehicle and don't understand servicing them. So I've been having an issue with my Kona with plugging it in the winter time. Obviously, it's been winter. When it's plugged in, I cannot use I can use the BlueLink app, but it just blows cold air. Now, the Kona also has, which I do love, when it's plugged in, it has what's called scheduled climate. Now, that I could set for it to be a certain temperature, have the windows all defrosted for the time that I leave to go to work. Now, and that is only supposed to work when it's plugged in. So when my vehicle was unplugged, I could use the BlueLink app. I'd get heat, no problem. The only issue was when it was plugged in. Now, and so the problem was when it was plugged in, no matter if I used the BlueLink or the scheduled climate, it would never actually heat. It would always just blow cold air. In talking to the dealership, nobody there drives an electric vehicle. Nobody there seems to understand what the Kona is supposed to do. I guess I shouldn't say nobody. The service advisors and managers and salespeople don't understand. The dealership I deal with, there's one mechanic who works on electrics, and he seems to understand or is willing to learn. But the issue is, with this cold, I've had to really fight with the dealership for them to even say that something's wrong. They have basically told me the first time that, well, when the car's plugged in and you use BlueLink, it shouldn't heat. It shouldn't do anything. But I've used BlueLink when it's plugged in, and it does stuff. It blows cold air. So I'm assuming it should be blowing warm air. But they basically told me, no, that's not how it's supposed to be. But that's after them calling Hyundai or whatever else. But I've actually had to go to the dealership to actually even try to get answers, and they get annoyed that I'm showing up trying to get answers. And this is the thing that I want to share with everybody who might be new to or looking at getting an electric vehicle, or just got an electric vehicle, haven't done any servicing, is when we're not buying a vehicle like a Tesla, where we're buying from manufacturers that are mostly internal combustion engine sellers, otherwise known as ICE sellers, and that's all they mostly deal with is ICE vehicles. We are now having to become the teachers. The unfortunate thing is, if your vehicle has always had an issue right from the beginning and you don't know what it's supposed to do, it's hard to be a teacher when you don't know that something's wrong, right? Where I at least knew something was wrong, but it's really disappointing that we have to fight with the service providers to fix something we know is wrong, right? That we have to then go and explain to them what is wrong and what it's supposed to do versus what it's not supposed to do, and just go through all of that. I feel like that's something that when you get licensed to sell an electric vehicle, everybody should have to go through. I know the mechanics actually go through courses on the new vehicles to kind of talk about the different servicing side of it. I don't know how much or what is being taught at these courses. I just know from like I used to work at a dealership, so I know a little bit of the stuff, right? But with a new vehicle that's so different from a gas vehicle, it seems like nobody's actually teaching these people what it is or isn't supposed to do. And it's super frustrating that I have to. It took, I believe, 5 different phone calls, many arguments over the phone. I even called Hyundai Auto Canada, who basically their only suggestion was, well, go try another dealership. Why do I have to go searching for a dealership just to fix a problem that I know is there? I did stick with the same dealership because they were sort of in the middle of it and I didn't want to start a whole new deal. But once I do get this issue resolved, I probably will be trying another dealership. But to go back to, so I did leave it at the dealership overnight, plugged in for them to check out. Surprise, surprise, something was actually wrong. It's actually the ambient air temperature sensor is done on my vehicle. I'm assuming there must be multiple ambient air temperature sensors because the one that displays in my vehicle shows that it's currently working. It shows the right temperature, where they were saying so they essentially have a tablet that they can look at all the different sensors and all that, and they were showing on theirs that it was showing 0 degrees, and that was inside a shop all night plugged in. So they know that sensor was done. Now, so that's supposed to be coming in a couple of days, so they can just replace it. But this is why I feel a lot of people, that customer satisfaction rate with Tesla is so high, because Tesla actually understands electric vehicles. They understand what their vehicle is supposed to do. They actually can check their vehicle right over the phone, essentially. So there's none of this going back and forth to the dealership just to try to get some answers. And it's really leaving a bad taste in my mouth for having to deal with any dealership. And this is coming from somebody that knows the dealership game. And it's just, I don't feel when you spend as much as us buying electric vehicles have spent on our vehicles, because they're not usually, there is a premium for an electric vehicle. So I feel that you should at least be getting that premium service. Or at least service. If I have a gas vehicle and it's not pushing heat when I turn it on, guess what? They can tell me right away what it is. Where I feel that sort of thing should be done with an electric. It shouldn't be a completely separate level of service just because you got an electric all of a sudden. So yeah, it's making it really hard to try to help others that might not be looking for a Tesla and might be a Chevy person or GM person. Just to try to, hey, yeah, go ahead and do it. It's going to be way easier than your gas vehicle. And it will be in the long run, right? But it's the short-term pain where I'm hoping that short-term pain is run out pretty quickly and we can actually get to the niceties of the electric vehicle where the guys actually know how to work on them, knows how to fix them, all that, right? The way it should be, right? We buy an electric vehicle for the minimal maintenance, not the headaches when we need the maintenance. So that I'm going to leave that rant there for now. And I guess I'll report back to you guys how it goes after and to see if I actually get heat well plugged in. Now, gonna finish it up talking a little bit about, we have a thing in Kona, I guess, southern Manitoba, here in Canada, called the Parade of Homes. It's kind of new developments, new house builds and all that. Me and my wife went and actually looking at a few different houses and just to get some ideas. And it was kind of nice talking to some of these real estate agents who either actually understand electric vehicles and kind of how they mesh with a new house build, or maybe don't know, but I start talking to them about it and they talk about how they're spending $60 a week on gas, and we talk about even some of the savings and all that, and actually getting them more enthusiastic about electric vehicles. I feel like if we can convince the real estate agents how great electric vehicles are, they can also then work on getting the developers to start already building these houses with either a 1450 plug or even just the wiring going to it, where all you have to do is put a plug in there or a hardwired charger. In here in Manitoba, it's not a code. I believe in British Columbia, it's now code that you have to have a plug or some sort of capability of installing a charger on all new builds. I'm hoping it comes across the board. I feel like here in Manitoba, it should be code for the simple fact our government owns the utility. I guess they're an arm's length corporation, so it's not officially owned, but with it being sort of owned by the government, we'll call it, I would feel like you would want to help people move to using more electricity, more power type deal, right? It means more money for the province as a whole and more work type deal, helping people actually that might not have as great a job move up, possibly get a nicer job, essentially in a union environment, right? Get a better paying job, nicer working environments and all that, right? So yeah, I felt like the conversations I had with most of the real estate agents were actually super positive, and nobody was really trying to push back at all. There's even some newer, or I guess new builds, new construction companies, whatever, that their standard is 200 amp service into the houses. So with 200 amp service, most houses can easily put a charger in without any modifications to the panel, right? I'm finding the ones with 100 amp service, their panels are getting pretty full to begin with. So you might not have a lot of room to actually install a charger, right? You might already have to upgrade to a bigger panel. Where I feel move up to a big panel right at the beginning, right? It gets a lot cheaper. When you're doing everything right from the beginning, it's a lot cheaper than having to modify it. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. Leave it at some sort of positive. I guess I never said where I was today. So today, I actually am coming to you after a stop at Walmart, where it wasn't actually crazy, but I had to get some diapers for my son. I didn't even check the toilet paper situation. But I'm actually coming to you from Duff Roblin Parkway Trail. So Duff Roblin is actually, I think he was the premier, I believe, of Manitoba. Yeah, I know. I should know. But it's actually, so it's a big floodway, because every spring we usually flood with a river that cuts right through the city. Well, the two rivers that cut right through the city. So they built a big floodway that goes around half the city and just redirects all that major amount of water around the city. So yeah, they got a little park walking trail here right at the edge of the city. Super nice and pretty quiet. There's a couple of vehicles here, but that's about it. So if you guys would like to get in touch with me, you can reach me. I'm on Twitter now at True North EV Podcast. I'm on Facebook at True North EV Podcast. And you could email me at truenorthevpodcast@gmail.com. Yeah, and you guys can let me know any of your guys' service experience, if maybe more EV friendly states, provinces are a lot better at servicing vehicles. Yeah, and let me know how that's going, like if it's a lot friendlier. The other thing is Manitoba Electric Vehicle Association was supposed to be, we were going to actually show a Jaguar I-Pace at a major car show here in Winnipeg called the World of Wheels. With the whole coronavirus COVID-19 deal, it was actually canceled, the show, and our meetings right now are on a temporary hiatus. So we'll have to try to figure something out, because I might have to do more podcasts, or I'm going to be trying to talk to a lot more people I'll be trying a couple of different services, because normally I like to record with people in the same room, but I know a lot of people are trying to keep their distance right now, so going to try to figure out ways. I got a couple. Bodie from Kilowatt Podcast, great podcast, go check it out. He actually has given me one recommendation, and there's a couple others that some other people that I know that do podcasts have also done. So we're going to go give a couple tries. Going to try to reach out to some people, at least get some sort of community spirit going here. But yeah, you guys have yourself a great week or weeks. Well, hopefully I'll be getting back to you guys shortly with some positive news. And we'll talk to you guys later. Talk to you later. Bye.